Hi there, a very good morning, good afternoon to all of you, depending on wherever you're watching me. This is Simply Stocks, and I'm live in this live session with you all, as promised, around quarter to one. And today I want to talk to you about three companies which have done exceedingly well on the numbers front and look good from this festive season point of view. So I'll discuss about those. Plus, we'll answer your queries and we'll talk about the markets as well. So I hope you all are doing well and your investments are going well as trading activity, because the markets have been pretty robust. The markets have done exceedingly well uh, and have been able to thwart whatever globally that is happening. And we have saved 17,500, and it's looking pretty good. And it looks like that we could be headed towards new highs by December or so. Uh, so we'll talk about all of that in a few minutes or so. Let more people join in, and so we can begin the session in earnest. RM, a very good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. So as I talk about the sports things always at the beginning, so we'll discuss about that as well. And it has been a very disappointing week from the perspective of being an Indian, as the Indian team has lost to not only Pakistan but Sri Lanka and are out of the Asia Cup. So there are a lot of things that the team need to rectify, and first of all, they need to rectify their team combination so that they get things going. So let's see how things pan out before the World Cup. Yes, there are a couple of bilateral series against Australia and South Africa, the T20 series. But looking forward to the World Cup. Hope we do much better than what we did in the Asia Cup. It has been a very disappointing tournament for me. And yes, that happens. We have won the Asia Cup twice in 2016 and 18. So eventually we ended up on the losing side, and now it's going to be Sri Lanka versus Pakistan in the final. So we'll watch that, but really disappointed by the showing that India has put up, because I know for once that the team is not that bad that they would lose to Pakistan and Sri Lanka in the manner that they did. But you have to take into consideration one point here, and this is not something to defend the team, but in the Middle East, especially in Sharjah, Dubai, the UAE, for example, in the whole of UAE, there is a thing that 70-75% of the matches are decided uh, on the toss, and the team chasing, even in one day internationals, have ended up doing pretty well compared to the team batting first. So that's one thing. So we lost the toss on two occasions and we lost the match. So it happened the same way yesterday, although it seemed like Afghanistan could give us a lease of life, but Pakistan chasing a target eventually won. So another team chasing a target in the UAE has ended up winning. Sheetal, very good afternoon to you. Good afternoon. uh, I think this is Siddhapur Sahab. Jayaprakash, a very good afternoon to you. Shiva Kumar, a very good afternoon. Uh, so that's the point on the cricket front. New Zealand and Australia played out a very exciting first one day, and second one day is on right now. So that's a good series that is going on. India will travel to New Zealand post the World T20, so that is also something to look forward to. So there are events. Manchester United, my team in the EPL, has started winning, so it will be interesting to see how they do this weekend as well. So there are other sporting events to look forward to as we continue our, you can say, endeavor of making money through investments. All right, so now let's begin the session in complete detail. So basically, I want to talk to you about the markets first, then we will discuss about the three companies that I feel are going to do extremely well during the festive season, and then finally, I'll answer your queries as well. So about the markets, markets have done reasonably well. So markets have remained robust in a difficult environment, and today it is up nearly half a percent or so, just over half a percent at 17,750. Mid cap and small cap index are also doing pretty well, with the small cap index nearing its highs, although it's still 2,000 points away from it, 6 7% away from it. But many small caps, mid caps have done exceedingly well. So many of you might have made a decent amount of money from the market. So what needs to be done now? So I believe that there could be a small correction of 3 4% in the mid and small cap indexes, probably 4 to 5%, but that would be just about it. And from October onwards, we could see strong rally all across the markets till January. I think October to Jan, we could see a massive rally that could take the markets higher to new highs, etc. And all indices could be at new highs. So a good 10 to 12% upside is possible in the market over the next 3 4 months. Yes, it won't be the thing that we saw from June till now. It would be a slow grind towards new highs, but things should look up because the way the markets are panning out, it looks like we are headed towards a new high. So that's the point about the markets. Even in mid and small cap, I see more rally coming in. Yes, there could be some amount of correction in some stocks which have gone up, say 4 5x in no time, but majority of the stocks may just continue to perform depending on their valuation. So there are many mid and small cap companies which are trading at very attractive valuations, and people are making money there, and it looks like they could just continue to go up over the next 18 months as well. So in terms of the market, it seems like we could be in a situation where, because of the oil prices at $92 per barrel, we are in a very good spot in order to have lesser current account deficit expansion. And so the market per se believes that the earnings for FY24 would be much better. FY23 we expect 860 rupees. FY24 we expect a 12 13% growth. So nearly a 15% growth in some cases. So 980 rupees is a possibility in FY24 based on 980 rupees at around 17 and a half thousand. The market looks very interesting. So I would say from October onwards, that's what the large investors would look at. And plus, we have seen that the FIIs are back. So foreign institutional investors are putting in the money. Yes, there is intermittent selling, but we are seeing 2,000 crore, 1,500 crores of buying regularly by the foreign institutions. So this looks pretty good from a 3 to 4 months perspective, and we can then probably decide in January as to where we are headed from there on in. So that's about the markets. Now, about the three stocks that I wanted to discuss with you, which I believe are going to do extremely well. So, during the festive season, during the season of September through to say Jan, and the charts also look good, numbers look good as well. One is Dixon Technology. Now it has tied up with Google to make Google phones, etc. So they are just expanding their revenue base, and the revenue will keep on churning. So what they have done is that although margins will remain around 4%, 4 to 5% maximum, but what they have done is revenue keeps on going up 40 50% every year. They had a revenue of around, if I'm not wrong, 11 12,000 last year. They could have so they had a revenue of 10,600 last year. They could have easily will have a revenue closer to 12 and a half 13,000 this year. It's trading at two times FY23 sales. It's not expensive, although on the PE front it does look expensive, but I think this stock is more measured through how much time sales it trades at. And that is why the breakout has taken place from 3,800 4,000 levels to whatever levels it is trading at. I believe if you get an opportunity of a 4 5% decline on the stock towards 4,200 4,250, that would be very good levels to get in. I see a good 25 30% upside over the next 4 5 months on the stock, which could take the stock higher beyond 5,000 rupees. So I think 5,050 200 on Dixon is a possibility by January. So That's the first stock, Dixon Technology, around 4250 becomes a buy. The second stock in this list is, in my opinion, is one of the fashion brands that had a mega IPO last year, but since have halved from those highs. And it's a very good online fashion firm, and this is FSN e-commerce ventures, which is Nika. So basically Nika around 1350, 1340, 1350 looks very attractive. The stock is not moving anywhere. It's consolidating in this on in this level, and it made a low of around 1250 on the 11th of May, around May. And since then, I mean, this is September, so this has been consolidating for 4 months. I think a breakout is very much possible, and around 1350 it's trading at 13 times earnings, current earnings, 10 times 1 year forward earnings. Looks very good. I think a good 25-30% upside on Nika from 1350 levels, very much possible. Again, keep a reasonable stop loss according to your risk appetite. And the third stock in my list that I believe can do well, and this is a disclaimer, I have the stock in my trading portfolio as well, and this is Vedant Fashions. I believe Vedant Fashions, with kind of margins and uh, productivity, or the numbers that it is producing, it had dipped today from a high of 1400 to 1350. I think there's a long way to go here. Another 20% upside, very much possible if you get an opportunity to buy around 1330, 1340. Do get in with a stop loss of 1280. And I think I won't be surprised if we see 1600 on the stock by January or so. So a possibility of a 1600 by January on with Fashions. Numbers are very strong. Margins have come back to 2019 levels. 50% margins are unheard of in industry, and this is a market leader that we are talking about. So I believe Vedant Fashions at these levels and on slight declines of 3-4%, yeah, is a very decent buy for a 20-25% upside. So these three stocks, in my opinion, should end up doing very well for you over this festive season, and should make you between 20 to 25% over that period, over that time frame. So uh, do have a look at them, and and accumulate the stock when they are consolidating, such as Nika, which has been consolidating also, and you will get good rewards for them. So I'm ready to answer your queries. Kindly use the super chat and super sticker feature that will help me grow the channel. That will help you also ask me questions, any out answers, any greater detail. So let's see what are the questions coming up. So Asian Paints asks Gopinath. Disclaimer: I have the stock in my very long-term portfolio of 15-20 years. I keep on accumulating it, and it is a gem of a stock. So any declines towards 3350 is a buying opportunity on Asian Paints. I think Asian Paints should do well, especially in this festive season. Yes, Asian Paints is another stock which should end up doing well. It was not part of the three stocks that I talked about, but yeah, this is something that could go up 10-15% from here. The reason I did not pick Asian Paints is because the move has already taken place. A big move has taken place from the lows of June, and so there could be lesser up move that is possible. So that's the thing. Vijay, I can't comment on whatever the favorite stock is for the next 2 years. I believe many mid and small cap companies are primed for a big move over the next 2 years. Uh, do analyze and then pick. Although one in the mid cap domain, which is a very renowned brand, InfoEdge, at these levels look very good from a 2 years perspective. I won't be surprised if it is up, say, 60-70% from here, uh, over a 2 year period from these levels. So Sigachi, a disclaimer, I have the stock. It is moving up finally after a lot of consolidation and decline. I think the numbers are set to be pretty good for FY24, and that's why people are making positions at this point of time, because of their expanded capacity coming on stream from December onwards. I think FY24 will be big. It's a buy at these levels, and on any declines towards 280 to 85, it's a buy. Okay. uh, what else? So VIP, Whirlpool, DMart. I believe Whirlpool looks good. In my opinion, VIP to me is kind of a travel play. You could probably buy in Feb, March, sell in August, September. It has run up from its low, so it can't be said that the valuations are pretty good there. So that's why it was not picked. Whirlpool look good. So Whirlpool is another festive play that you can look at for a target of say 22, 2300, with the kind of numbers it is producing. So yes, that's one stock. DMart is an evergreen stock. In fact, to my clients, I and to the members on Patreon, I gave a buy call just today. On any declines towards 44, 43.50 or so, 43.50, 4300, it's a buy. DMart could also end up doing well. In fact, the retail play, and that's why I picked Vedant Fashions here, because of kind of margins it has compared to DMart. But all these kind of retail play, or something that is into garments, should end up doing extremely well. So Naveen Fluorine is a good stock from a 2 3 year perspective, rather than probably buying it for a trade. So if you buy it, remember that all the chemical stocks have done exceedingly well for 6 consecutive years from 2016 onwards. The stocks have done extremely well. So I believe that going forward, it could be extremely difficult for to make the same amount of returns uh, when you get into these chemical companies. So be extremely careful while getting into them. So Hawkins, I believe, is an avoid. I think there are many other, you can say, consumer plays that you could look at, except Hawkins cooker. So that's my call. I think many other larger consumer plays that one can look at. What else? So BEL looks good. See, all the defense stocks look good, but there is a chance that they could get into uh, a lot of consolidation rather than an up move just continuing. So be ready for that. If you're ready for a 2 3 month consolidation, you can wait it out from a 9 to 12 months perspective. BEL, BEML, and these kind of defense companies do look good. So Polycab looks good around 2500. I think we could see 3000. Another of your festive plays that could do well. 2500 you can buy a target 3000, and a stop loss of around 2400, 2380. Okay. 30% loss in emphasis. Should I hold or exit? See, I think the IT stocks, even I have given up on them just recently. I think the IT stocks look very good from a 3 year perspective, but if you are buying it from a short term point of view, you could see more pain because of the things that are happening in UK and Europe especially. So I would say at least for the next 6 months, 3 to 4 months, things will look bad. But if you have a 2 to 3 year perspective, these companies which work abroad should end up doing well. In fact, will reward you very well from these levels. So FL India look good. This is one of its kind advertising play for mobile advertising, etc. So very good company. I think around 1250. If you get a chance to buy it around 1250, 1300, you can accumulate here. If you have it, hold on to the stock. I see very good traction over the next 2 years on FL India. Yes, short term there could be some pressure, there could be some gyration, consolidation, but over a 2 year perspective, I think 50 to 60% upside is very much possible. See, textile, I'm not that sure that would have a very good future. Remember that every industry have its own kind of, you can say, PE, and that average PE remains the same. In the textile industries, it is between 10 to 14 at max. So between 7 8 to 14 is where the PE lies, and not, right now the textile sector altogether is trading at the highest end of that PE. So I don't see a PE expansion. If the numbers really get going, then some of the textile companies like Welspun India may do well, but I think overall I don't see textile doing that well. So you can trade in them, but do not invest. I would say don't invest into them in that way. Reliance look good. I think Reliance, if you get a chance to buy at 2550, 2500, I don't see much of a downside from there. And over a 2 year perspective, there is a chance that this could head towards 3000. So that's the call on Reliance. I think 3000, 3100 is a possibility over a 2 year period. Short term, there could be only consolidation in these stocks. All right, guys, thank you. Thanks a lot for being online. Please like and subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so you get my videos straight away when I post. You kindly subscribe to my Patreon network. Thank you. Thanks a lot.